Subscribe now. Don't miss any story. Share your thoughts or reflections in the comments. It was a typical Friday evening in our quiet suburb in Ohio. I had just gotten home from school, tossed my backpack in the corner, and flopped onto my bed. The golden light of sunset spilled across my bedroom floor, and the house was unusually quiet. Mom was still at work, and my little brother Tyler was at a sleepover that left just me and Dad at home. I had just turned 16 a few months earlier. High school life was a mix of stress, drama, and a lot of hiding things I didn't want my parents to know. Not bad things necessarily, just things I didn't want to explain. Like the guitar I'd bought off a friend without telling anyone, or the journal I kept under my bed that had more than just song lyrics. It held pieces of me that no one had ever seen. My thoughts, my fears, my questions about myself, about life, and about the future. And one particular secret I wasn't ready for the world to know. Dad was in the garage working on the old Chevy he'd been trying to restore for years. I could hear his muffled humming now and then through the cracked window. I figured I had some privacy, so I pulled out my journal and flipped to the last page. My pen hovered for a moment before I started writing. I think I'm different. Not broken, just not what everyone expects. I don't even know how to say it out loud yet. But every time I see Ryan in the hallway, that's when the door opened. I didn't even hear footsteps. Didn't hear a knock. I looked up and froze like a deer in headlights. There was my dad, holding a wrench, eyebrows raised, eyes scanning the room until they landed on the open journal in my lap. My pen slipped from my fingers. Time slowed. I could hear my own heartbeat hammering in my chest like it was trying to break out. Dad stepped into the room and paused. Hey, sorry. I didn't know you were writing. The garage light blew out and I can't find the spare bulbs. You seen any? I couldn't speak. My throat was dry. I quickly tried to close the journal, but his eyes had already caught enough. I knew they had. I could see it in the way his expression shifted, from casual curiosity to a flicker of something unreadable. He didn't say anything for a moment, just glanced at me, then at the journal, then back at me. Is everything okay, Caleb? He asked, his voice softer than I expected. I nodded too quickly, too awkwardly. Yeah, just writing. Nothing serious. He took another step in and sat on the edge of my bed. The wrench dangled from his hand. Can I ask you something? Tensed. Yeah, sure. That journal. You wrote about feeling different. About someone named Ryan. He paused again. You want to talk about it? My heart dropped into my stomach. I had never planned for this. I thought I had more time. More time to figure out who I was, what I wanted, and how I would ever explain it to someone who still used phrases like back in my day, and fixed things with duct tape and determination. I don't know, I mumbled. Dad nodded slowly, like he understood more than I gave him credit for. Listen, Caleb. When I was your age, I didn't know a thing about myself either. I acted like I did, but deep down, I was confused, scared, and trying to live up to expectations that didn't really fit. I glanced at him, unsure of where he was going with this. I saw your writing, he continued gently. And it's okay. It's okay if you're still figuring things out. And it's okay if Ryan is more than just a friend to you. I stared at him, stunned. I hadn't said it out loud. Not once. But he did. And he wasn't yelling. He wasn't angry. He wasn't leaving. You're not mad, I whispered. Dad set the wrench down beside him and shook his head. No, I'm proud of you, Caleb, for being honest with yourself. That's not easy. It's harder than most people realize. I looked down, suddenly overwhelmed. Emotions flooded in, relief, fear, confusion, love. I hadn't even admitted it to myself completely. And now here he was, giving me space to breathe, to be. I don't know what it means yet, I said quietly. I know I feel something. And I'm scared. He nodded. That's fair. It's a lot. But you don't have to go through it alone. You've got me, your mom, even your brother once you're ready. No pressure. Just know that you're loved. Exactly as you are. I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes, but I blinked them away. I wasn't ready to cry. Not yet. But something deep inside me cracked open in a good way. I thought you'd be disappointed, I admitted. Never, he said firmly. You're my son and I love you. That's not changing. No matter what. I couldn't speak after that. Dad reached over and pulled me into a hug, the kind I hadn't had since I was a kid. It was solid, warm, real. I didn't even realize how much I needed it. When he pulled away, he smiled. Now, help me find that light bulb, huh? I can't see a damn thing in that garage. I laughed, the first genuine laugh I'd had all week. Yeah, okay. Let's go. We found the bulbs in the laundry room, of all places. After we fixed the light in the garage, Dad let me sit on the hood of the Chevy while he worked. He told me stories from high school, about a girl he once had a crush on who turned out to be gay and how he handled it all wrong. He said he regretted not being more open-minded back then and how much he'd learned over the years. I realized then that people could change. They could grow. My dad wasn't perfect, but he was trying, and that meant everything to me. Later that night, I went back to my room and opened my journal again. I didn't finish the sentence I had started. Instead, I wrote a new one. My dad walked into my room and found something he never expected. But what he gave me in return was something I never imagined. Acceptance.